my dad and his brothers and his father, they had a jewelry store and a manufacture company. So they have factory and jewelry
They
store.
made jewels?
They made jewels. And they made jewels, gold and silver, and they made them for the upper scale people like actors, millionaires, people, dancer, ballet dancer, all the people who need jewelry and gold, they were always going there to get their jewelry. It was very famous factory, the store that they were going, upper scale. So by the time, one day they went to work, my dad, and he see red wax locked the door. And a policeman was officer there, and he told him, "You're not able to come back here. It's belong to the government." By then,
What year was that in?
probably 1960, 1961. So my dad said, "Then what we do?" And then he went back home, waited to. They said they have to make inventory, and will take time to see, and they may open it back for them. But they told them, for now, do not come back here. So my dad was telling me that they had so much gold that's really amazing. He said 4 storage full with gold and silver, 4 big storage,
Wow.
and all been gone, all been taken away. So millions and millions, a lot of millions of dollars have been gone. They froze all the funds for all the rich people, not only the Jews, but anyone who have a lot of money. The funds have been frozen. We not have any access to it. So nobody could prepare to take it out and run or hide or anything. They did it at the same time. So that was very hard. And so my dad said, "Oh, I have money in the bank. Let me use it," and then frozen. And then we went to the house, I mean the apartment, and then one day, someone knocking on the door, and 2 cops and one person with a suit, and he said, "We are from the government. We're going to size the place." And they went and measured every table, every plate, everything. They wrote. They have a book. They wrote everything down, and they said everything is belong to the government from now on. And they said the house will be theirs, and the stuff that in it. They not left anything for us, not even clothes, nothing. I was 7 years old or 8 years old. I was holding my doll, afraid because they were scaring me. And I held the doll next to me very much, and he said, "What is this?" And I said, "It's a doll." And he said, "Give it to me." And I said, "No, it's my doll." And he said, "I'm telling you, this is not anymore yours. It's a government doll." And I remember crying, and because I feel like secure with it, and they took it from me, and I felt very, very sad. And I cried, and I remember I said, "How could be the government? It's mine. I hate the government." I remember saying that. I said, "How could they take my doll?" And he said, "Everything in this house, it belongs to the government, and you have to leave, and you have to leave everything." And then they closed the house, put again candle, wax, clothes. And then we moved to my grandmother, which she lived in another area of Egypt.
How did you get there?
With taxi, whatever. And then we started to live in my grandmother's house. And again, the stories repeat itself. They found out that my grandparents have a place, and that she already no longer in the villa. She left and lived in another place. And the same thing happened again. They came and sized the place and kicked us out. And my dad telling me that what upset him the most, that they left him without money, without anything, and we cannot eat. How are we supposed to eat? And he said he had to sell something from the house, like refrigerator or washing machine, just to make money to eat. And they found out, and they told my dad he would go to jail, or he have to pay twice the price of. And how they find out how much he sold it? The guard that's saving on the building, he told him, he asked the person who saw him taking the refrigerator And he asked him how much you paid them, and he found out how much, and he told the police, the officer, I said, they sold it for this much money. So they came and told my dad, you're going to pay twice immediately, or you go to jail. So my dad started to be panicking. Not only have no money, they telling him you're going to jail. And that was before they put people in jail. It was like 63 or 62.